Well, it all comes down to this. One game to keep the Creekside Knights football season alive. After Mosley and Nice beat Niceville and Ponte Vedra last week in upset situations, Creekside only has two scenarios to make it into the playoffs. Number one, Creekside beats Ponte Vedra and Sequoia Creek upsets Nice, which most likely will not happen. Or number two, Creekside beats Ponte Vedra and jump pace in the FHSAA football rankings, which most likely would happen, but it's not guaranteed. One common factor between those two scenarios, Creekside has to beat the number 2 team in the region, Ponte Vedra, right here on the castle tonight. The biggest game in a long time taking place on the grounds of Creekside High School is happening tonight, and Creekside needs to win it to keep their season alive.
This is Creekside, home of the Knights, where legends are made and champions are born. Here at Creekside, we know wins don't come easy. It takes hard work, early mornings, and late nights. And when you step into the castle on Friday night, you know what you're going to get. You're going to get 48 minutes of tough, physical football. You're going to get knocked down, drag-out battle. You're going to get a team with no quit. You're going to get a team that will knock you down on first down and then sit you down on second. And when we're under the lights at the castle, it ain't over till we say it is.
He fires. It's caught. It's a touchdown. It's a touchdown. Creekside knocks off the undefeated Mandarin Mustangs. 23-22.
Tonight is our night. This is our chance to punch a ticket into the playoffs. We're ready for battle. After everything we've done, it's all led up to this. We're not ready to go home, but we're going to need you all with us tonight. So come on, Creekside. It's time to get loud. It's time to get crazy. Let me hear you, Creekside. Are you ready? Because it's not time in the castle, baby. Woo!
Creekside Gameday is sponsored in part by Angela Tharp, real estate advisor and broker associate, 25 years working with buyers and sellers. Reach out to Angela Tharp for your real estate needs. That one painter, First Coast. That painter you need, we're the one. And Tom Moore Realtor. Tom covers all of the Jacksonville and St. John's areas. When you need a realtor, ask for Moore. Tom Moore. Hello everyone, and welcome into Creekside Game Day. I'm your host, Noah Schlicksup. Later on, we'll talk with Knights senior Nicky Williams, whose incredible Creekside career was cut short after an injury in week 1 this year. And before my matchup breakdown for this game against Ponte Vedra, it's senior night tonight. So I decided to go out to practice this week to ask some Creekside seniors what their favorite memories are as Creekside Knights.
My favorite memory is first coming here, making a lot of friends, and my brothers.
My favorite memory was on JV Red hitting the game winner my freshman year against Bartram Trail.
My favorite memory was going down in the bar, taking a long bus ride, getting a W, and then riding back home.
All right, my favorite memory is team camp with all the boys, waking up at the crack of dawn, practicing, eating, all the fun stuff.
My favorite memories is every time we run out the banner and the band does their band chant. That one, you know what I'm saying?
My favorite memory is youth camp with the little kids. It's always exciting seeing them look up to you and just teaching them.
My favorite memory was probably the Glen Academy game, pouring down rain, being with all your boys.
Some great moments and memories mentioned in there by those Creekside seniors. They'll most likely be playing their final game in the castle tonight, but they'll need to get a win to hopefully avoid it being their last as a Creekside Knight. They'll be facing the number 2 team in the region this week, Ponte Vedra, who's really taken their next step forward under third-year head coach Steve Price. In 2021, this is a team that went 4-6 last year. They just missed the playoffs at 5-5, and this year they've made that jump to 7-2 on the season and have been playing some really good football. The Sharks offense comes into this one averaging 32 points per game. Led by second-year starting QB Ben Burke, the Sharks have run the ball 63% of the time. Burke has rushed for 520 yards and 1 touchdown at quarterback this year after rushing for 12 last season, and the FAU offered running back Brian Case has hit the end zone 16 times on the ground for 867 yards. The Sharks are a run-first team, but they will also air it out a lot as well. With success, the passing game has been fantastic this year for the Sharks. Quarterback Ben Burke has completed 64% of his passes for over 1,500 yards with 17 touchdowns and just 4 interceptions. Burke does a nice job of buying extra time in and out of the pocket with his legs, and though he doesn't possess elite arm strength, he can still push the ball downfield with a lot of accuracy. The Sharks do a nice job of spreading the ball around to a wide variety of guys at wide receiver. Though Cole Madsen has emerged as their number one guy, they also mix in tight end Landon Okla along with wide receivers Ryan Smith and Griffin Owen. This is a really good Sharks offense that has only turned the ball over 7 times this year. Creekside's defense is going to have to step up as they did last week. The Knights were able to have a fantastic game against Atlantic Coast. They shut out the Stingrays, forced 2 turnovers, and on special teams, blocked a punt that turned into a safety. Creekside's defensive front was fantastic against AC, as they have been all year long. Last week, the Knights had 12 tackles for loss with 3 sacks up front. All around, Creekside's defense played their best game in years last Thursday against the Stingrays. It'll be interesting to see how much of that they'll be able to replicate against the Sharks. Creekside's offense will have a challenge ahead of them in this one in the Ponte Vedra defense. This is a unit that's allowed just 11 points per game while forcing 15 turnovers this season. Though they do have a few guys that stand out on defense, the main thing they do really well, which makes things tough on opposing offenses, is they play together and they execute their scheme. I think the Knights are going to have to run a balanced offense to come away with a win in this game. Opponents, they're having struggles running the ball against Ponte Vedra. They're averaging just 118.5 on the ground this year against the Sharks. By comparison, Creekside averages over 220 rushing yards per game. I think the Knights are going to have to find a way to get the run game going, or they might be in trouble. The passing game for Creekside, it's had its ups and downs this year. Last week, pass protection seemed to be an issue for the Knights against a tough Stingray defense, and the Knights are still yet to find a way to consistently get the deep ball going. When they're on, it's scary. But when they're off, it can be a bit of a struggle. The Knights can't afford drops, protection issues, or turnovers on offense tonight. If they play a clean game in those 3 areas, I think they'll put a good amount of points on the board. Now moving on to our story of the week. If you followed Creekside football over the past couple of years, you know the name Nicky Williams. After Preston Stroke graduated after the 2021 season, a big hole was presumably left in the Knights' offense. Then enter Nicky Williams. And this guy came in as a junior his previous season, had 1 carry for just 5 yards at the varsity level. He came in, took over for one of the best running backs, if not the best running back in school history, and not only filled that gap, he improved the Knights' running game. Williams totaled over 1,400 yards on the ground with 17 touchdowns, was named to the Jaguars All-Prep Top 25 players in the area last year, and heading into his senior season, more of the same was expected from the Knights' senior running back. However, in Week 1, his season was cut short after an injury was sustained against Palm Beach Central. So for senior night, I thought it was only right to take one last look at one of the best running backs in Creekside history, Nicky Williams. First down here, they give to Williams. He's got a first down and much more to the 20, 15, 10, end zone, touchdown, good night. Creekside has put this one to bed. When you hear the name Nicky Williams, what comes to mind?
Football player. He is a football player. He's a tough kid. He's a hard-nosed kid. He's a really good football player. Just kind of football is his main thing, and there's nothing wrong with that. He's going to be a successful kid because of all the work. He's learned how to push himself, but just football player through and through.
Going back over your past couple seasons at Creekside, what's your favorite memory as a Creekside Knight?
I definitely got to say one of my favorite memories has to be the Glen game or Nice for sure. Those were both really fun games for me and the whole team.
My favorite memory, though, was really our last year, one of the first games against Vieira, when it was really his breakout, and then followed that up with 5 touchdowns against Nice, and he really only played the half of both of those games, but that was when you just knew you had something special. And we knew what we liked in Nicky going in, as Coach already said, but to see him go out there then as the first time he was really the lead back, and to produce the way he did was super exciting. I remember the playoff game too. And Navarre, he had a huge game. He just had some big time moments in big time games for us last year, and it was a fun ride.
When he took over for Preston Strope, did you expect him to have that amount of success? Your run game actually improved with Nicky Williams as your running back.
Yeah, I did. We had seen him for 2 years at that point. Both years he played on our good JV team, and even as a sophomore, he had gotten some varsity action. And he's just a football player, that's just hidden through and through. So he's very natural at everything we did.
Describe the challenges of taking over for him and what allowed you to handle that in stride.
Definitely having Coach Rollins by my side all the way is definitely what helped me the most. And Preston Strope, he was a very big back,
Yeah.
He was strong. And I kind of just took that and learned how he ran, a little bit of his running style, and wanted to put that to my game.
When you heard the news that you'd be missing most of your senior year, I'm sure that was pretty tough. How do you end up taking the news?
It's devastating for sure, because, you just want to go out and play with your brothers on Friday night. It's a great feeling when you score, and it's definitely sucks, but I'm taking it one step at a time. I'm going to miss going out on that field Friday nights and putting up a performance for the fans, and playing with my friends and everyone that has become family from my whole time at Creekside.
Creekside's coming up on some big-time games here in November. What's your advice to some of these guys who've never played in these types of playoff-like games before?
My advice definitely would be just stay calm, treat it like any other game for sure, and definitely try a lot harder to make plays, because you don't know if this is your last time playing playoff football, but just give it your all, 100%, no matter what.
When you look back at Nicky's career, what's his legacy going to be here at Creekside High School?
Phenomenal football player that was a part of what was the best season in school history. Hopefully, that changes. But just a huge part of our program, like all of our seniors, his commitment, his level of willingness to go above and beyond what we ask him to do just is going to stay with me forever.
Nicky, in my opinion, he's a complete back, what's made him so special. I always talk about with my guys that if you couldn't run the ball, you're not going to be in my room anyway. So there's other things you got to do, right? Like one, starting with pass pro, protecting the football, protecting the integrity of the play, meaning I always say be a baller without the ball. Nicky did all those things. So when I bring my guys in and I show film, I'm showing a lot of Nicky Williams, his pass pro technique and the way he does things besides running the ball.
I just hope people see me and see how hard I put in work and all the things I've done to try to help Creekside as a program and try to lead.
I appreciate Nicky taking the time to sit down with me and talk about these past couple years as a Creekside Knight. He obviously means so much to this Creekside football program and will be remembered as one of the best running backs the school has ever seen. Now moving on to my prediction for this game. Creekside needs this win. You know it by now. Last year, the Knights beat Ponte Vedra on the road when the Sharks were in the exact same situation that the Knights are now. Ponte Vedra, they smell blood in the water. They want their revenge after what the Knights did to them last year. But Creekside, I don't think they're going to let it happen. I think they're going to come away with a 31-20 victory out here at the Castle, and I think I'll be talking to you right back here on Creekside Game Day next week. If you can't make it out to the game, which you better, you can tune in right here on Schlick Sports Live, audio only. But for now, I am Noah Schlicksup signing off, saying see you next time here on Creekside Game Day.